Hey everybody, this is just a little reading from, what's this book called again? Okay, Wonder-Book Tangle-Wood Tales by Hawthorne, and this is from, what is that, Mifflin Company. Alright, here we go. On the highest point of the hill was a heap of stones, in the center of which was struck a long pole with a little flag fluttering at the end of it. Eustace led the children thither, and bade them look around and see how large a tract of beautiful, or see how large a tract of our beautiful world they could take in at a glance. And their eyes grew wider as they looked. Monument Mountain, to the southward, was still in the entrance of the scene, but seemed to have sunk in a subsided, so that it was now but as an undistinguished member of a large family of hills. Was as undistinguished member, excuse me. Beyond it, the Taconic Range looked higher and bulkier than before. Our pretty lake was seen with all its little bays and inlets, and not that alone, but 2 or 3 new lakes were opening their blue eyes to the sun. Several white villages, each with its steeple and each with its steeple, were scattered about in the distance. There were so many farmhouses with their acres of woodland, pasture, knowing fields, and tillage that the children, could hardly make room in their minds to receive all their different objects. There too was Tanglewood, which they had hitherto thought such an important apex of the world. It now occupied so small a space, that they gazed for beyond it and on either side, and searched a good while with all their eyes before discovering whereabout it stood. Sorry, you guys. I'm a little rusty in my reading. I haven't been keeping up like I usually do. All right. So white, fleecy clouds were hanging in the air, and through the dark spots of their shadow here and there over the landscape. But by and by, the sunshine was where the shadow has been, and the shadow was somewhere else. Far to the westward was a range of blue mountains, which Eustace Bright told the children were the Catskills. Among those misty hills, he said, was a spot where some old Dutchmen, were playing an everlasting game of ninepins, and where an idle fellow whose name was Rip van Winkle had fallen asleep and slept 20 years at a stretch. The children eagerly besought Eustace to tell them all about this wonderful affair, but the student replied that the story had been told, once already, and better than if it ever could be told again, and that nobody would ever have a right to alter a word of it until it should have grown as old as the Gorgon's head, and the 3 golden apples, and the rest of those miraculous legends. At least, said Periwinkle, while we rest ourselves here and are looking about us, you can tell us another of your own stories. Yes, Cousin Eustace, said Primrose, I'd advise you to tell us a story here. Take some lofty subject or other, and see if your imagination will not come up to it. Perhaps the mountain air may make you poetical for once. And no matter how strange and wonderful the story may be, know that we are up among the clouds, we can believe anything. Can you believe, asked Eustace, that there was once a winged horse? Yes, said saucy Primrose, but I am afraid you will never be able to catch him. For the matter, Primrose, rejoined the student, I might possibly catch Pegasus and get upon his back too, and well as a dozen other fellows that I know of. At any rate, here is a story about him, and of all places in the world it ought certainly to be told upon a mountain top. So, sitting on the pile of stones with the children, while the children clustered themselves at the base, Eustace fixed his eyes on the white cloud that was sailing by and began as follows. All right, love you guys. Hope you have a good day. Thanks. Bye.